We'll see what happens. But with that being said, we're gonna get into some of the games that we're gonna preview. And the first one is a NFC East matchup. You got the Eagles versus the Cowboys. A lot of drama leading up to this, especially with Michael Parsons. He's been kind of running his mouth about the Eagles and, kind of putting out this narrative like, is it the Eagles? Is it Jalen Hurts? I mean, which one is it really? Is it? Some like honorable mentions. I think I don't think it's a bad thing to bring up that convo. It just happens to be that the person that's bringing it up is on the Cowboys. I know we spoke about it, and in general, I think this game kind of plays out with the Cowboys coming out on top. There's some questions going into the game with Jalen Hurts' shoulder. Um, they're saying last I checked, they're saying that he's most likely going to play. And, you know, is it good if he plays? I think so. Is it a bad thing if he plays? I mean, I think if he plays, I don't think you run him nearly as much as you do.
I think this is kind of a it's a tough situation if you're the Eagles. If the Eagles are playing an almost any other team, probably literally any other team in the NFL
No.
besides the Cowboys right now, they probably just sit them without thinking about
Yeah,
it.
of course.
You play the Cowboys, and the reason why it's interesting, one, Micah Parsons is running his mouth all over the place.
No.
The guy won't stop talking. All right. Then you have they're the next. They have the record that puts you in direct threat to not just falling out of that first overall seed in the NFC, but to potentially losing your division if you lose to the Cowboys and say the Cowboys went out. And then if you have a tough time the rest of your games, I mean, could easily flip the whole
The whole playoff picture.
right. And now you're in a wild card spot instead of being a number one overall seed sitting at home and getting that first round bye. So it's a very tough spot for the Eagles to be in. My thoughts on this game is that the likely outcome is either A, Jalen Hurts plays and they probably win, or B, Jalen Hurts doesn't play and they find a way to win.
Yeah, they still find a way to
Because
win.
I think, and the other thing that goes into this, we talked about MVP talk last week. If Jalen Hurts doesn't play and the Eagles win, they're gonna try to take that award from him.
Yeah, of course.
And
Because they're gonna just
they're
give
gonna
more credit
they're
to the
gonna say
actual.
exactly what Michael Parsons
Yeah,
said.
exactly.
Is it Jalen Hurts or is it the team?
No.
Oh yeah, so we won. So the Eagles won without Jalen Hurts. Oh, so anybody could be in that quarterback spot and that team is gonna win.
And the
Why are we
thing,
gonna give the guy the MVP? That's what they're gonna say.
yeah, and the thing is too is it's like Gardner Minshew he's not a bad
Nah, he's
quarterback.
not.
He's a quarterback he's done enough. He's not bad. He showed that he can play. I mean, he played with the Eagles last year and he had a few wins with them as well. I mean, there's been questions before the season even started, like, oh, will there be a quarterback battle between these two quarterbacks with Gardner Minshew and Jalen Hurts? And I mean, they've rode with Hurts, but I mean, it would be interesting if Minshew comes in, he handles business, does what he does. I'm sure they're not going to ride with him because Jalen Hurts has brought them this far already. But what I will say is the Eagles should capitalize on this momentum that they have going into the playoffs. We've seen I mean it's not the last week of the season yet, but we've seen like similar situations with the Ravens last or not last year, but I believe the year before Lamar's MVP year, where they benched him. They had, I believe, no, they didn't have their first round bye. I think the Chiefs did, but they benched him. Then they went and had like a gap between that and the playoff game, and then they went in the playoffs and they just got completely ran out of the building by the Titans. So
Yeah, I think in this situation, um, you don't. It doesn't matter about that to me
mhm.
because Jalen Hurts' health is probably a bigger priority.
Yeah,
So my guess is they probably are forced to play him this game, and he probably wants to be out there this game.
yeah, for sure.
You go if that's the case, fine. If he's okay with being out because whatever injury he's dealing with is that much of a problem for him that he's not going to be close enough to give you the best chance to win, then fine, you sit him. After this game, especially if you're gonna be in good position to get that number one overall seed. I think you start being pretty careful with Jalen Hurts,
Yeah, and
and
just rehab him.
maybe not sit him completely, but maybe you don't run the same amount of run plays. Maybe you play him, but then
Play him like for one half, and
right,
then
because it's very easy too. Like I mean, if I was an NFL coach, this would be very simple to figure out. Send out Jalen Hurts sometime in the second, third quarter. Jalen, when you run to the sideline or if you take a hit, just act like your shoulder hurts. And
yeah,
then we're gonna pull you from the game and we're gonna put in Gardner
Minshew.
Minshew.
Yeah,
And nobody's gonna think anything about it. Oh, Jalen Hurts hurt his shoulder. That way you get him out of there early before he actually does, right?
yeah,
Then you have another game to go or so you do the same thing in that game. And then
yeah,
the talk is gonna be, oh, Jalen Hurts injured going into the playoffs. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
really, he's probably been getting better every week. And if you have the first one by, you have more time
To rehab that shoulder.
and you
Yeah,
don't knock him out of rhythm. I mean, you could kind of get the best of both worlds if you do things like that. My guess is if I could think of it, the NFL coaches would think of it. Will they do it? Is a whole
it's a
nother
whole nother
thing.
story.
There's some. I mean, Bill Belichick would do it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, for sure.
He's probably done it a million times and nobody even knows about it. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So yeah, but that would be how I would handle
I think
something like that.
yeah, I think Sirianni's ego is too big. Jalen Hurts has too much of a chip on his shoulder, has a lot that he wants to prove, and he's been proving. So I don't think that does happen. Although I think that's probably the best logical situation because it's like one, you get Minshew some reps in too, because God forbid something does happen to Jalen Hurts, at least he has some continuity with this offense. So
Mhm.
definitely. I'll, I mean, we'll both be on the lookout to see what happens with the Eagles and this whole situation and how it pans out towards the coming to the end of the season. So